Hey everybody, this is just a tutorial to show you how to get a static mesh weapon that you made ready to export into UDK. Um, right now I'm using 3ds Max 2012 and it's a little bit different from 2010, at least how you would export it, but I'll get to that a little bit later. One of the first things you want to do is make sure your units are set up correctly. So you go to Customize Unit Setup, and you just go to Custom, just type in Unreal Units. I usually do 0.065 for feet, and then you just click OK. What you could do to make sure that your gun is appropriate size is go over and make a box and then make sure that the size is 32 by 32 by 96, and that would be roughly the size of a character in the game. Obviously this gun is way too big, so what you would do is go to the you'd select the gun. You would select the gun, and you would go to select in uniform scale, and you would just scale the gun up and down. Obviously you wouldn't choose, you just scale the gun down to where it's about an appropriate size. But yeah, you just do that, and then once you have your gun the appropriate size, you can go ahead and delete your box that you just made. The next step would be make sure that everything on your box is centered correctly. The best thing to do, at least for weapons, is make sure it's centered along the x-axis, and the handle of the gun is actually in the center of the grid and lines up along the x and y axis, because that's how it'll come in the into the Unreal Development Kit. So what you would do is go Effect Pivot Only, and you can just move your pivot up and down to wherever you want. I just set it to be right here at the handle, and then you collect it again so you're not messing with it anymore, and then you go up to Utilities, Reset X Form, and then Reset Selected, and that basically just resets the history for the mesh. So now what you want to do is to create bones for the gun. That way you can start animating. So what you do is just go up to Animation, go to Bone Tools, and then you click Bone Edit Mode, then Create Bones, and you'll want a bone from about the middle of your handle going right here above the trigger, another one going from there to about the middle of the barrel, and from the end of the barrel to the end of the gun. And then it usually always makes a fourth one because apparently I don't click it correctly, but I'll always just redo it later. To resize any of these, you can just uniform scale them. It doesn't really matter at this point. You can change the size. Just make sure to delete this one that you don't need right here. And I mean, they're not the correct size. Make them a little smaller so they're not like sticking out. There we go. And then when you're done messing around with your the bones in your gun, you click Bone Edit Mode again to get out of it, and then you click out of the box. So now what you do is make a skin for your gun, which basically gets you set up so you can actually animate it. So So what you do is go to this tab right here, and then go to the modifier list. You go down and hit skin. You click envelope, and then it'll say right here edit envelope, and then what you do is go to add, and then you should have all 3 of the bones that you placed right here. So you just select all of them, hit select, and then it'll give you this red thing around your last one, and you just click you just click out of it, hit edit envelopes to close out of it, and then you could just leave this up here. It doesn't really matter. So now that you're done with creating the skin on your weapon, the next thing you need to do, if you're doing it, is animate it. So what you do is toggle set key mode, which is right here, and then what you want to do is to select your gun, or whatever bone. You can do one bone at a time, but it's just easiest for me to just select the whole thing. And you would let's do that. Go to this key button and set the first key. That sets just like the first key of the frame, and then you'd go to how many frames you want your animation to have. A good number is around 30, and select another frame. This is your start and beginning state are going to be the same thing, and then you go to around 6 or 7, and then you would move your gun however much you want the animation for it to firing to move, and then you set another key. So your animation would look like this. It just jumps a little bit. Alright, and then after you're done setting however many frames that you want on your animation, if that's all you want to do, you select toggle set key mode again, and at this point you are ready to export into UDK. So what you would do is you would go up here to where you can go new, open, reset, stuff like that. Make sure that your gun is selected, which it is. Go to export, export selected, and then you would find a folder to export your gun to. I'll just do it in the folder for this class. The naming convention should be the same for everything, so I'll just go WP shotgun. And you actually only need to save it out as an FBX now. I know for 2010 and later, and also for other programs such as Maya, you would have to download an Actor X plugin in order to export the animations. You no longer have to do that. All you have to do now is save it as an FBX, and it actually does all the files together. It doesn't give you like a PSA or anything. So you save it as an FBX, and if you have more than one animation that you do for the same static mesh, you just save out separate FBXs. It doesn't come in all in one, that's the only thing. But it's a lot easier to do now. You make sure this animation box is checked on the export menu. You hit OK. It usually gives me some sort of warning, which is fine. You hit OK, and then you should be good to go with importing into UDK, which will be on another video. I hope this was helpful, and go watch the other video.